It amazes me how many people, professional speakers, traders, business people, I say, what's your opening line? Well, I don't know. You need to have your opening prepared, because that's when you're going to be most nervous. Now, after the opening, your start, you have to transition into your premise and structure. Now, what is number 2?
A little known fact.
Oh yes, well that's what that was. Okay, now let's go back to the S's. What is the second S?
Stand still.
Ah, perfect. Stand still. Well, you see, you have so many multiple handouts to take with you. So we are now back to the S's. Stand still. I am not saying stand still through your entire presentation. I am suggesting at the beginning of a presentation, this represents how you stand, the stability of your ideas, the stability of your message, especially if you are representing your company. Now, even if you're a motivational speaker or a business speaker, you start with a story. One, the audience is getting in tune with you, and you don't want to distract with unnecessary movement. So, for example, 465 times in the Bible it's saying that it came to pass. It did not say it came to stay. Now, you're distracting from your own message, especially when every word counts at the beginning. Now, I'm not saying don't move. However, move, know the principles of movement. So the presentation we're working on with you, it was, what was it? It was
the phone call that changed.
It was the phone call that changed my life. How about 2 steps forward on silence, because it kills you to stand still. It was such a wonderful day. So you're moving to a different part of the stage for a different mood. But you're taking the 2 steps forward for dramatic effect. You never do it more than twice in a presentation or it looks like a technique. Because as Laurence Olivier said, the art is hiding the art. Yeah. Oh, she's been to a speaking school since I saw her last. Okay, but that might be. You also move on transition, which was one of the questions we had. How do you go from one idea to the other? Well, you can move on transitions. The second point. Or you have movement-specific phrases. If you had a story where you're saying, so I walked in the boss's office and said, boss, you gotta give me a raise. People don't remember what we say. They remember the pictures we create in their mind. Now, if I said, I walked in the boss's office and said, boss, you've got to give me a raise, because I've really been working hard, and you... How we see the picture is that you walk in front and you stand in front of your boss's desk, asking for the raise. So if you keep moving, we know that something doesn't match. When I walked into your corporate headquarters, that's a movement-specific phrase. Now, perhaps you might want to say, come back with me to 1982. Now, remember, when the audience is looking at you, that is the past, that is the future. So we start. You have 24 techniques written, but stories, interesting statistics, little known fact. We learned this afternoon, a rhetorical question is a great way to answer. You're going to stand still at the beginning, not to distract from your own words. What's the next S? You're my shill, otherwise I'm going to put my glasses on.
Structure.
Structure, yes, yes, yes. Every presentation has to have a structure. It doesn't matter how complex it is, it has to have a simple structure. So your story transitions into your premise, which is the central theme, the big idea, the idea that you're selling. And if, just to confuse you, but add to the value, we have the Fripp speech model. Right? So you have your opening story, or your line, 465 times in the Bible. Then you transition into your premise. Now I have a very simple premise formula. You might want to write this down. Every ... can ... subject of your presentation. 1, 2, 3. Think of who the audience is. So after the opening, every Seventh-day Adventist pastor and lay preacher can deliver even more charismatic sermons.
How?
By understanding and implementing the 3 necessary ingredients in every effective speech or sermon.
What are they?
Structure, content, and delivery. There are 2 ways you need to connect with your congregation.
How?
What are they? Intellectually and emotionally. And there are 3 ways you emotionally connect with your congregation. Through eye contact. Come out and deliver the opening line of your sermon to one person. And the entire audience will feel like you're talking to them. Then learn the I-U ratio. Speak as an audience advocate. Don't say, I am going to talk about it. Say, you are going to learn. Would you like to be let into a secret? Have you ever found, you know what it's like now. You find ways to bring them into your presentation. And the third way you emotionally connect is through stories. Now you see, when we talk about answer the questions that are in the audience mind, can you see how I could conversationally at the dinner table go through the outline of my presentation? So when you're on stage practicing and memorizing and just getting in shape, you can't do the whole 3-hour presentation, but you can practice the opening and just run through the structure. So going back to our simple formula, you introduce your premise, which is the idea that the speech is about. They would think, how am I going to be a better deliver a better sermon? How can I sell myself and my ideas to upper management? Or whatever your subject is. These are the talking points. The circles stand for the stories, the examples, the analogies that make your case. That is a very simple structure. Then the best way at the end is to do a review with a rhetorical question. So how do you design and deliver more charismatic sermons? Do the review and then close on high. So that is the structure.